Hey, what's going on? John Schumacher here with Hangouts to Convert, and I just wanted to make a quick down and dirty video for you all on how to set up Webinar Jam Studio. I think there's a lot of confusion around the steps that are required. So what I'm going to do is walk you through how to set it up, take you into the Hangout a little bit, and show you some of the key features. So let's go ahead and share my screen here. Let me go ahead and bring that up. So you all should see my screen right now. And let me go ahead and walk you through some of these features. So this is where you're going to get when you log into Webinar Jam Studio. On the left-hand side, you'll see these tabs here. They have some very nice trainings for you all, analytics. And if you haven't set up a webinar yet, you're going to click on this new webinar tab. And that's really what's going to walk you through these tabs here at the top, step by step, to help you get set up. If you have webinars already completed, they're going to be under your My Webinar section. You can edit your webinars here, your existing ones. You can clone them, which is really neat. So if you're going to be doing a series of webinars and you don't want to redo the entire email sequence, you don't want to redo all of the configurations, you can clone the webinar to easily duplicate it and then just change some of the copy on the registration page. So that's a really neat feature as well. After you're done, the main things to look at here are the attendee links and the presenter links. So let's go ahead and click on attendee links. And this is really what's going to get you your registration pages. So what you're going to do is you're going to copy this and take a look at that. And that's actually the link that you will send people you want to register for your webinar. So you can email this link to people. You can share this link on social media. And that's going to allow people to click on that link and go to the registration page that you set up during your Hangout or for your Hangouts. So remember that. That's an important link there. And under the Presenters tab is where you're going to get the actual links you're going to want to use to enter yourself into the webinar. So what I usually do here, if this is you at the top, if you're what they call the super admin of the webinar, you want to copy this link when you're ready to start. Copy that and paste that into a Chrome browser and go ahead and just hit enter, and that will enter you into the Webinar Jam itself. You can send the links to yourself, and I recommend that you send, after you're in, that you send the links to your other presenters. So I know a lot of people are getting locked out of the Webinar Jam Studio. They're not able to get their presenters or their co-presenters to the webinar. You need to enter the Hangout or the Webinar Jam yourself first as the super admin. So if you're the top line here, you're what's called the super admin. You need to be in the live room first before others can access it. So what I usually do is about a half an hour or so before we go live, I'll enter the live room. So I'll literally just copy this link here, paste it into a Chrome browser, hit enter, and I will automatically enter into that specific Webinar Jam. So that's a tip. Once you're in, go back here to this page and send the links to your other presenters. So let's go through the setup process. So I'm just going to walk you through as I would be doing a new webinar. These same tabs will be in your Edit Webinar section. So if you're editing an old webinar, you'll see the same tabs here. And it works left to right. So you want to start off by naming your webinar. This isn't what's going to be seen by your users, so don't worry too much about that, but just something that you can remember for referencing that specific webinar. Titles are extremely, extremely important. So you're going to want to use a title that really speaks to your specific target market. The title is extremely important, and copy is absolutely vital. So let me come back on screen here and just talk a little bit about that. Is the copy for your headlines is going to make or break the opt-in rate for your webinars. And you really need to think about how you're wording it. And it should be words that are emotional to your actual audience, to the people that you're looking to reach. And it should be benefit rich. So take some time to survey your audience or to look at a few competitor sites and see what words that they're using to reach their people successfully, and then incorporate that into your webinar title. The title should also invoke a little bit of curiosity. So it could be, these 5 steps will make all the difference in your email marketing campaign, or 5 things you must know to have a successful webinar. That invokes a little bit of curiosity, and it makes people want to read more. So think about that when you're creating your title. So let's go back to our setup here. And so you want to obviously have a title, have a description that's also benefit rich. Pick your language, and then I would highly recommend you schedule it for a later time. I don't really think of a time that you're going to be doing a right now webinar. It's going to be mostly scheduled. You have the option to choose multiple webinars or a one-off webinar. You want to pick obviously a date in the future, something like that. The time also, and this is in military time. So if it's 13, that's 1 o'clock, obviously, and you can do like 1:30, 1:25, something like that to really set the tone. Now we could do 2 o'clock at 2:30, so it's military time. Make sure you set the time zone correctly and double check that. And then there's a cool feature here called Webinar on Demand, which is their Jams on Demand platform. I would go ahead and click this unless you're doing private training. Then obviously you don't want it viewed by others. But what this is Webinar Jams Marketplace. It's their Jams on Demand marketplace that'll allow other jammers to see and you see your webinar. If they like the title, they may end up joining you. So if it's a public webinar where you're doing a free webinar where you're going to be offering something on the end, or just simply doing an interview and giving value, I would highly recommend that you list it. If you're going to be doing some kind of a paid training or something like that, I would not list it. And then of course you want to if you want, you can put a category in there, and then you want to hit save and next. So I'm going to have to put something in here. I forgot about that. So let's just put demo, and it won't let me save until I have a little something in there. So let me go ahead and click that and save that, and we'll go on to the next one. All right, here is where you're going to want to put your name. So if it's my name, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and put my email address here, which has to be a Gmail, by the way. So you want to get a Gmail from all of your presenters. That's something we ask all of our people to do before they come. The webinar owner, yes, that means you're the super admin, you're the active speaker, and you're going to add that to the mix. And you can see my Gmail and profile picture came up there. You want to grab a picture that looks nice, so go ahead and click there. All you have to do is click on that to add a picture. Again, make it look nice, make it look actionable, and that'll work there. So that's that section. This is the registration page. What you're going to do, there's a video, of course, to help you if needed, but what you're going to do is click on this little pencil here, and that's going to allow you to pick from up to 11 different templates there. So I like video in mine. I like a countdown timer. So I like this. I don't know if this is video or not. I don't know if there's an option for video on that one or not, but find one that has video. I like this. So this is one that we're using, number 7. You can see that it lists bullets and different things like that. You definitely want one with nice bullets that are very benefit driven. A nice video. I recommend videos. Some people say you want to wait a little bit. I think showing your face on the front end helps to warm up your audience. It lets them know that you're a real person, and gives you a little bit of flavor, gives them a little bit of flavor for your personality. So I like putting a video in there as well. So you can, they're looking to integrate Lead Pages and a few other things with Webinar Jam. I believe Lead Pages is coming out with an integration May 1st. So you might want to keep your eyes out for that if you use Lead Pages. I'm planning on looking at that for webinar registrations. But in the meantime, just simply, pick a template that works for you. You're going to want to put a title in here and a description. There's an option for video or an image. You want to put some bullet points in there that are very much curiosity provoking but benefit driven. And then you're going to literally just save that. And you're going to hit confirm. Go ahead and try that. Come on. Oh, did I miss something? It wants a video. I'm going to get rid of that just for the instructional purposes. I guess it's not letting me. All right, let's try to confirm here. So it's not wanting me to do something. It wants me to put something in there. So I guess I'll just upload a quick image. Upload an image. Let's just do this one. Open. And there's that. And what we'll do then is we'll just click confirm that, and that'll allow us to preview our page right there. When you're done previewing and you have it set, hit next. In the notifications tab, this is where you're going to create your email follow-up. So one cool thing about Webinar Jam is that it allows you to have built-in email notifications to remind people about your webinars, so you don't have to use your own autoresponders. I haven't gotten into the SMS marketing yet. I've only used the email marketing, but all you have to do is click on that. I would recommend using their own servers just to keep it simple. And then you want to put your name in there and your email address as well. You're just going to hit select. And you're going to have the option now to look at a welcome email, pre-notification emails, last-minute reminder emails, and post-webinar follow-ups. So unfortunately, you can't alter some of the emails unless you're using your own services, but you can add more emails, different things like that. They're sort of preset because of spam policies. Unfortunately, a lot of people were spamming people using these autoresponders, so that's why they have it set up there. For replays, we generally use our own responders. So what we do is set up our list, and I'll show you how to integrate your list with this in a moment. But what we do is set our own follow-up emails up, just because webinar jams are a bit limited because of these anti-spam policies, but I'll touch on that in a moment. Once you're satisfied there, you just hit confirm and then save and next. Under the integrations tab, what we're going to do here is integrate. This is where you integrate your autoresponder. So if I click on this, you'll see there's several choices. We use Aweber for ours. So what we did was integrate Aweber into our autoresponder. So what we would do for this is you want to go to your autoresponder, whether that's MailChimp or Aweber or whatever, and grab the HTML code from the list that you create. So if you're doing a webinar with a partner, or if you want a separate list, I recommend that you segment your lists. And then you should have an option in the opt-in box that you create for that list to grab the HTML code from that. You want to copy that and paste that right here so it integrates Webinar Jam with the correct list in your autoresponder. So that's how you would do that. Once you're satisfied, you click confirm. You can also embed your affiliate link if you want. So I have an affiliate link with Webinar Jam, obviously, and this is where you would paste it there. It allows you to have a clickable image at the bottom of your webinar, and if someone happens to want to click on it or likes what you're doing, you can get a commission for that. Once you're done, hit confirm. Integrate a third-party tracking system. So this is where you can integrate things like Google Analytics or Facebook ads. So if you click on this, if you're doing Facebook advertising, either retargeting or conversion tracking, this is where you would copy the Facebook ad ID. It's a little more than I'm going to go through here. I definitely do a lot of Facebook advertising and think it's a very powerful way to get traction to your webinars and to your business. What you want to do, though, if you paste your ad ID in here, is you want it to be embedded on the post-registration thank you page. You always want to have your tracking pixel not on the registration page itself, but the page after the registration, so that you know when people opted in for your webinar, and you can track specifics from Facebook to Webinar Jam. So make sure if you're using Facebook advertising that you paste the ID in here, and you make sure to click on the post-registration thank you page. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those things, and we're just going to cancel that. Also for Google Analytics as well, which I usually haven't been doing. API stuff I'm not going to go over with. We don't use that too much. And then we're going to hit next when you're ready. And then you're on to the thank you area. So this thank you page allows you to look at a custom. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Looks like you're registered, blah, 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 blah. So this is kind of you can take a look at it. You can preview it. If you want to put a custom video in here, you can, just saying, hey, thanks for coming. Watch this video for more instructions to get people ready for your webinar. That's an option. But again, keep it simple. If you're not really good with video, just leave the standard page and it works fine. You can also put some custom text in there as well. And when you're finished, click next. The live section is a section that you're going to want to look at if you want to pre-configure polls. Now, if you want to pre-configure a poll, you just simply click here, go to add a new poll, and this allows you to type in your question here. It allows you to give different answers and then save it when you're done. Same thing. Let me go ahead and cancel that. Same thing with offers. So if you have a free offer or a sales, this is a sales webinar, this is important because this is what you're going to want to configure. So you're going to want to add a new offer. You can put an image in here. You can put your headline, which I'd recommend, and it allows you to literally have an add to cart button that you can paste and post right above the chat box in Webinar Jam. So, again, a nice offer. If you need to find a image URL. So let's say you don't know where to get that. I believe it's, they allow you to download it now. That's perfect. Never mind. You used to have to paste a URL of the image into this. Now they actually allow you to download it straight. So that's perfect. All you have to do is name it, and you can type in some text and text on the button and different things like that. And then, of course, this is where you would paste right here is where you would paste your checkout URL, so that if you're using PayPal or Samcard or something like that, they give you a URL that you can attach to different buttons, whether that's Webinar Jam or Lead Pages, in order to have people check out on that. It's good to have it open in a new tab. You can display the real-time sales if you want. I'm not going to get into placing the sales pixel on this. You can apply scarcity if you want. So this can put countdown timers or the number of people that are buying. Of course, this is going to apply a little bit more to, a little bit more than we're going to go through here today, but basically allows you to put a countdown timer in, which as long as it's authentic scarcity, I think you can go ahead and use a countdown timer. If it's not, then I don't personally recommend you using a lot of false scarcity. Scarcity definitely gets more sales in your business, but make sure it's authentic scarcity and it's not some BS that you're just looking to manipulate people with. But that is an option for you as well. Go ahead and hit that. Video injections is where you can pre-plan a few videos. So you can add a video here, the name of the video and a URL of the video. It looks like they will only be hosted on YouTube. So if you're hosting a Wistia or Vimeo video, that's not going to work. I haven't played with this too much. We did a little bit of practice and it worked. Something to explore for your business. And then, of course, I would have the social media share buttons if you're looking to do a public webinar. Once you're done there, hit next. Replay page. This allows you to enable the replay, which I like to do. I like to use the replay afterwards because a lot of your sales are going to come in the follow-up of the webinar. We found for some of our sales webinars that as much as 80% of the sales are going to come from that. So that is huge. You got to follow up. You got to have a good replay strategy. I would enable the replay, and if this is a sales webinar, I would maybe have it expire 48 hours later and mention that in the follow-up emails, as well as any other bonuses and things like that. So after you're done, hit confirm. And then you're going to, let's see, what else? Configure the replica replays. This is where you would do that. I do prefer a replica replay. I think that's a really neat model that they're adding to this. Expiration times, you can set private videos, allow viewers to send questions, which is fun. We actually did that on a replica replay. I like that. I would definitely do that as well. And share buttons, that's your choice. You are allowed to charge, for your webinars. This is where you would set it up. You can just simply change it, make it free, or you can charge something. You can set your buttons all in here. If you want to use PayPal or some other service to charge for it and collect money. I prefer the free model where you get on there, you give a lot of value, you share your story, you get people engaged and really connecting their problems to your solutions, and then offer it on the free webinar. But you can do that however you want. And then you're going to hit save. And that's it. You have a configured webinar. So that was a walkthrough of all of these tabs here. Once you're done, You can go back to your webinar section and you can see it right here. This is where it is. Again, these are my attendees links. So this again is a link I could share to the registration page. If I copy that link and paste that into a Chrome browser, hit enter, I'm going to be taken to the registration page. So make sure that you do that before you test anything out. It's definitely going to, you want to make sure that you've set it up right, that you set the times up right, and just it's good to double check. So make sure you post that and check that out as well after you've configured it. Again, these are your presenter links. I only presented myself in here as a presenter. This is the live room link. So if it's a half an hour before we go live, I come in here, I grab that link, I copy that link, I copy it into a Chrome browser, I hit enter, and it's going to take me automatically to this webinar jam. So that is how you do that with Webinar Jam. Again, here's the analytics down here. You can take a look at those, select a webinar, and you know, these are some of our up-and-coming webinars, and click on that to look at the analytics, how many people showed up, how many people watched the replay, those type of things. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can look through it there. So that's basically how to set up Webinar Jam. I forgot a couple of places to put in some fields, so that slowed down this video. It's a little long. I would like to take a few minutes to show you a couple features inside of Webinar Jam. So what I'm going to do is come back on screen, and what I want to do now is share my entire screen so that you can see the insides of my Hangout. So what I'm going to do is come over here. You're going to see it like an infinity type tunnel that kind of infinities into you. But now what you should be able to see is my apps, my screen, those type of things. So let's go through a couple tips when you actually get to the webinar. So let's say I copied that live room link into a Chrome browser. I hit enter. I named my Hangout, and then I clicked Start Hangout, and this is where you're going to end up here. So this is just a Google Hangout on Air, which is just basically a Webinar Jam Studio is a skin that goes around the Google Hangout on Air. So what I'm going to do now is just what you're going to do first is you're going to have this Webinar Jam app, the app in the side here. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that up. That's going to automatically be here when you enter the room. And there's going to be a button on the side, and this is critical. There's going to be a button on the side here that says Start the Session. You have to click on that first. That's the first thing you want to do when you come in here is click on this. There'll be a button over here. You don't want to just start the broadcast down here at the bottom. You're going to want to hit that button, and that will allow everything to start. That will allow your other presenters to get there. That'll allow your audience to get there. There's been a couple of comments in the group about that, and that's a big, big problem if you're not hitting that first, because no one's going to be able to get on and find you. So you have to hit that first. A couple other things you want to do before you start is you want to check at the top here. These are a couple of little tools. I always check my settings. So next to the little red phone, by the way, the red phone will hang up the entire thing. So don't click on that during your webinar, or the whole thing will go away. That's kind of the red phone of death, if you want to call it that. But I always like to check my settings first, make sure I have my appropriate webcam, my microphone, my speakers are working. I always do a play test sound to make sure that my speakers are turned up on my computer. And then you want to leave this as voice. You don't want to leave this as studio. I've played with the studio option, and that studio option just simply it quiets it. It didn't come across very well. So I would just leave it as voice and then click save so that you know that you have the appropriate camera set up, the appropriate everything set up. A couple other apps I want to show you over here. One is called the the Cameraman app. So it's this little app over here. If I click on that, you'll see this pop open on the right-hand side here. This allows you to determine who is seen on the camera. So if I prefer to have one person at a time on the large screen that my audience sees. Some people like to have multiple people down here in the video film strip. I prefer if it's maybe one or two people just to have that one person or two people highlighted, but it's up to you. If you're having, basically what this allows you to do right here, and you want to focus on this one right here, is to broadcast the large video that you see to the audience and hide the video newsfeed. So what that means then, if I click yes here, the Hangout will hide all of the people that are down here in the video news feed, or the video feed, or they call it the film strip in Hangout Ease. if it's just me right now, obviously, and I'm doing a screen share, but if there were other presenters here, you would see multiple people down here with their little video thumbnails. If you want to hide that from the broadcast, you want to click yes right here. You want to click yes and hide them. And if you don't want to, if you want to leave the film strip visible, you want to leave this as no. So I would say if you're having a group discussion or a round table, it's a little more engaging maybe for your audience to have a big full film strip underneath. If it's just a couple people, I usually hide it. I usually click yes here. Just note that if you leave it as no and you have more than 2 people in the Hangout, the video thumbnails are going to show up and they're going to crowd the main screen that your audience sees. So just remember that when you're using that option. At any time that you want to hide or come off of an app, all you have to do is click on the app, that same app again. So if I click on the Cameraman app, it goes away, and you can see that it's not showing up on my screen anymore. Another app I want to show you is called the Hangouts Toolbox. This will allow you to set up your lower third, which is basically an image that goes below your name below your image with your name and email address on it. So what I have here is several custom overlays. I'm doing a screen share now, so I don't think they're going to show up okay. No, it doesn't look like it. I'll come back on camera for a second here. Let me show you kind of what that looks like here. So I'm going to show you guys a custom overlay, and you're not going to be able to see it, but this is what it looked like. This is one of mine that I use for our Hangouts with Marketers kind of interview series that we do, Hangout interview series. You can have, this is an older one that I used to have for a show that I did in healthcare. Let's see here. I had, and I actually had a pre-show template that I would use there. So you can make custom overlays. They're fairly inexpensive. You can get a web design, or excuse me, a graphics designer to make them for you. Or you can go on Fiverr.com to pick one up. They work perfect there. So if you don't have a custom overlay, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. You can type in your name. So let me go ahead and share my screen again real quick. And I know this is getting a little long, but I just wanted to show you guys lots of extra stuff here. If you don't have a custom overlay, which are these down here, you can just simply type in your name. Let me go ahead and type that in. And maybe your website. So let's see here. Let's just do, mine is hangouts.convert.com. I can make it green if I want. I can choose a logo. And when you're ready, you go ahead and just click this on switch over here. So let me go ahead and come back on screen. I'm going to click the on switch, and there you go. You should be able to see it. I can turn around and look at it, hangouts.convert.com. Oop, I spelled my own name wrong. But you get the point. That's where you do it. You can turn it on and off there. So that's a few tips there for creating a lower third. That just makes you look a little more professional on your Hangouts. Let's see here. I'm going to share my screen one last time, and then I'm going to wrap this video up. I know it's getting very long. I do want to, so there's just a few apps here that you can go through. I'm using the screen share app right here. If I click off of it, it goes away. If I click on it, I can choose my screen, which you can't see at the moment. I'll make another video on screen sharing shortly because it's important. It's a little tricky to figure out. Let me just go through the Webinar Jam app real quick, and then we'll end the video here. So let's go ahead and look here. At the top, you'll see these main 5 tabs here. The chat tab is what you're going to use to talk with your audience if it's live. So this little spoke wheel will bring the options up and down. This allows you to enable the chat or not enable it. I don't know why you wouldn't enable it. And this allows you to make your messages public, private, or both public and private, whatever that means. This is where you would use a sticky note. So let's say you wanted to put some instructions to your audience. So our good friend Roger earlier today did a webinar, and he did a really neat thing that I actually learned from him today, was to put some instructions to the audience. So let's say that people have issues sometimes with the Hangouts buffering or freezing. And one thing to get rid of that is to actually have people refresh their browser who are in your audience, and that'll often take care of the problem. So what Roger did was put those instructions in there. If you're having audio or video issues, go ahead and refresh your browser. If you still can't figure it out, and then he put his actual YouTube link into the actual into here as well, because people can watch this on YouTube. I don't want to diverge too much, but down here in the bottom, you can see this is where you can actually have people watch on YouTube. So you you can actually give this URL to people, and people can watch your webinar jam as well. So actually take this URL here, put that in the sticky note part of your message, and that'll help people who get kicked off or are having issues watch it on YouTube. So that's the sticky note. You can also put URLs in there. So if you're having an issue with your pop-ins or it doesn't work, you can put a sales page or a bit.ly link URL in here, and all you have to do is hit display sticky note. So if I just did like this and hit sticky note, what it should do is display. I guess it's not doing it because we're not live, but that's what you would do. Not live, but this allows you to look at the registrants in the room, who's there. You can look at buyers if you've set that up. This is where your polls are. And you can create a poll on the fly if you want, or you can use custom polls. All you have to do is load that there, put in your question, pop up, make the results public if you want, and hit start. Really good there. You can also pre-configure them like I talked about earlier. This is where your pop-ins are. So if it gets to that point in the webinar where you're ready to sell or ready to present your offer, you can simply pop in an offer there. This is one that I've set up prior to this. So if I load that and display offer, again, you're not going to see this on your end, but this would be shown on their end. If you want to take an offer down, let's see here, you can just simply pull that away. Looks good. And then finally, your videos. This is where you could put your pre-configured videos in as well, or create a video on the fly, which I don't know, maybe you could do that. But I hope that gives you a good enough picture overall of what to do with your Hangouts. So once you're all set up, and you've clicked the Start Sessions button, which is critical on the right-hand side here, you're going to come down here when your guest is there, when you guys are all set up, and hit the Start Broadcast button, which is actually the in broadcast button on mine, since I'm using Google Hangouts literally to record this. So this is recorded on Google Hangouts on air. I'm using that right now, and I can make another video that shows you how to create just videos, screen shares, or videos like that within Google Hangouts. So you're going to hit the Start Broadcast button, which will be a green button at the bottom. There's going to be 2 beeps on the second ding, I should say. You're going to see this, which would be an off-air button, go live, which it is right now, and that's when you would start talking. There's about a 30 to 45-second delay depending on your internet speed. So when you're using your pop-ins, you're going to want to make sure that you give them a little leeway. So you don't want to just pop it in and start talking, or people are going to see the pop-in first and then they're going to catch up with it later. These pop-ins are in real time, and same thing with the poll. So if you click that, it's going to go right to the audience and they're going to see it. So what I like to do is give it a little bit of a buffer, So, hey guys, I'm going to be putting up a poll in just a few minutes. I'm really excited to hear your input on why you haven't been using Webinar Jam Studio to build your business yet. Is it time? Is it lack of knowledge? Those type of things. And that's a really good way to kind of buffer that and get them ready. And then at that point, after maybe a 30-second period, you can pop in the poll to time it effectively. Again, take action, guys. I mean, you don't have to be perfect on here. I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I have several other videos on equipment, on setups. I probably have I think I have 500 videos in my YouTube channel, and I have probably close to 70-some videos on Hangouts. So if you guys have a question, reach out to John at hangoutsthatconvert.com. Message me on Facebook. I want to help you guys get going. Michael and myself are hosting a live Q&A session going through all of this live with a group on this Thursday, which is the 30th. So I'm going to go ahead and come back on screen. It'll be the 30th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There'll be a replay going out for those who can't make it. So I hope this was helpful, and I will see you soon.